Now, we might have witnessed the greatest hip-hop feud to date. The world was locked in as Kendrick Lamar and Drake finally squared off in a battle that was a decade in the making. Since 2013, when Kendrick dropped his Control verse, the tension has done nothing but increase between the two, shooting subliminals in their songs.
And if a nigga say my name, he the hot shit. But if I say that nigga name, he still the hot shit. Fucked up, lucky I don't fit into the gossip.
A BET cypher that went viral.
And nothing been the same since they dropped Control and tucked the sense of the rapper back in his pajama clothes. Ha ha.
And an interview by one of the artists that was wiped from the net and was never aired.
I can tell you now, shit.
You can tell me now?
Yeah. Drake is doing our show, Max and myself, Max Kellerman and myself, Sports Nation, big hip-hop fans, both of us, because we're hip-hop fans, / he's hosting the ESPYs that year. Now, we always did our show live, always. Studio audience, all this stuff. That day, I don't know why, we had to tape it. And it turned into him going at Kendrick Lamar and really going at Kendrick Lamar, saying, man, come on, man, I'm me and he's him, and all like, he just sunning him. They got the video somewhere, so I wish they just let the shit go because it's out there, but they probably burned them like the Spygate tapes or some shit like that. But it's out there.
Now, all of these were little moments that slowly began to add up until one day, things finally hit the fan. Now, what's incredible about this battle is that as the years grew, both K-Dot and Drake only improved with time, both dropping classic work, creating memorable moments that'll be here forever, and carving their own lanes with a blueprint the next generation can follow. Since the 2010s, these two have kept the bar raised and helped carry this culture to new heights we might not have ever seen without them. Two polar opposites, but individuals that need each other. A contrast we've seen in other arenas, from wrestling to sports, and even in movies. They're so different that it almost seems like they're the perfect fit. Now we're gonna briefly go down this timeline, starting with the track that might have officially started it all. On Drake's For All the Dogs, that was released in October 2023, Cole positioned himself, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar as hip-hop's big three. This seemed very innocent and an honest gesture because we know Cole is always the one to keep the peace.
Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey or me? We the big three like we started a league.
This one line seemed to take a life of its own and spark possibly the greatest hip-hop battle we've seen to date. Now, this is interesting because even though the masses call themselves the big three, and I vividly remember that being the consensus growing up, Cole is the only one out of the big three to publicly say it. Kendrick and Drake have never fully acknowledged that. On March 22nd, Future and Metro dropped their collab album, We Don't Trust You, which was rumored to be an album taking aim at Drake. The Future and Drake situation was new to everybody, as they have a history of hit songs together, and we were really hoping for a What a Time to Be Alive 2 in the near future. But we did know that him and Metro were having some issues ever since Metro left Drake off of his song Trance from Heroes vs. Villains, which featured Travis Scott and Young Thug.
What happened with the Trance record? Because Drake, obviously his verse leaked this week. Why did that version not make the album?
Really, it was a song I had did with Travis and Thug originally for my album. And I was just in the studio with Drake one time because we were going to do some stuff for my album, and he just wanted to hear some songs from my album. Then he heard that one and really wanted to get on it. But, like, I was letting him know that it was really just done for real, and I was really just set on how it was. I was like, bro, I ain't even trying to sell you no dream. Like, it's really, like, just locked in. I'm locked in where it was, but he hit me and was just like, man, let me see if it's just anything he could add to it, and he was like, if you don't like it, then whatever. So he did some stuff. A couple parts was cool, but like I just felt like just even with like slime verse and trap verse and the outro, it was just already like it just really wasn't no room.
And Drake dropped Her Loss with 21 Savage with the song Going at Metro that was actually produced by Metro.
Fuck, let me kick it basic. Niggas, they got love for the boys, so they fake it. Crack a couple jokes to some bitches on some snake shit.
Metro also had issues with Her Loss, getting more attention than his album in his now deleted tweet. And Drake later responded back on a Twitch stream.
And to the rest of you, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, you guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam. Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something? You guys, that's what I thought. No, that's what I thought.
With Metro responding again with an RDC skit.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
Also on this album was a record called Like That, and it featured Kendrick Lamar. This was ultimately the verse heard around the world, as he shut down any Big Three conversations and literally called himself the best out of the others.
Motherfuck the Big Three, nigga, it's just Big Me, nigga, boom!
While throwing pretty clear shots at Drake and Cole, all while they were still on tour together. Cole was the first person to step into the ring, and on April 5th, he dropped his mixtape, Might Delete Later, that he was promoting prior to any of this happening. On the last track, though, was a song titled 7 Minute Drill, where Cole took aim at Kendrick breaking down his albums and addressing his hiatus after accusing him of putting out music and disappearing, only to reappear to name drop for attention. Cole also made it clear that he made it to his position from his music and never needed to start no beef, which is pretty accurate, as he's the one who always seems to try to keep the peace, which is never a bad thing.
Well, he caught me at the perfect time. Jump up and see why I got here off of bars, not no controversy. If he wasn't dissing, then we wouldn't be discussing, huh?
But a few days later, on April 7th, Cole took the stage of his Dreamville Festival and publicly apologized for his 7 Minute Drill track.
It's one part of that shit that make me feel like, man, that's the lamest shit I ever did in my fucking life, right? And I know this is not what a lot of people want to hear. I know I can hear my niggas up there right now like, nah, don't do that. But I got to keep it 100 with y'all, right? I damn near had a relapse, right? Because y'all heard some shit that happened 2-3 weeks ago, however long it was. Y'all heard that bazooka that was dropped on the motherfucking game, right? Text flooded. I couldn't even answer my shit. Nigga, it's wartime. Boom, 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 right? Niggas want to see blood. And I was conflicted because, one, I know my heart, you know what I mean? And like, I know how I feel about my peers, these two niggas that I just been blessed to even stand beside in this game, let alone chase their greatness, right? So I felt conflicted because I'm like, bro, I know I don't really feel no way, but the world want to see blood. I don't know if y'all can feel that, but the world want to see blood. So I say all of that to say, in my spirit of trying to like get this music out, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like I try to like jab my nigga back and I try to keep it friendly, but at the end of the day, when I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace.
He spoke on feeling pressured from the public and his circle to respond, which ruined the feeling of peace that he's been working so hard to attain. And it's now also been released that Schoolboy Q was also someone who spoke with Cole in private and suggested that he excuse himself from the battle because it was a lot deeper than just for sport, from Kendrick's perspective. A$AP Rocky makes a quick appearance as he takes shots at Drake on Metro and Future's second album, We Still Don't Trust You, which released just 2 weeks after the first one.
Niggas and they feelings over women, what you heard of, son? I smashed before you birth, son. Flacco hit it first, son.
Rocky and Drake have tension through past women, and Rocky is now the father of him and Rihanna's 2 children, RZA and Riot. Rihanna and Drake, of course, have their own thing from back in the day. This was the first time that we've ever heard Rocky speak on it, and although it was not a bad verse, I don't think it gained the traction that he hoped for. Also on that same album, The Weeknd made a second appearance, having a feature on We Still Don't Trust You versus just ad-libs on the first one.
They could never diss my brother's baby. When they got leaks in their operation, they shooters making TikToks.
Now, this was the first time that someone implied that the OVO team might have a mole in their camp, with the TikTok line relating to OVO signee Baka Not Nice, who was seen in some TikToks with a woman he's friends with. The tension with Rocky was well known, but the Weeknd shot came a little out of left field because last time we heard, the OVO EXO crew were united. And since they are from the same city, we would hope that the strength within it would be at an all-time high at a time like now, instead of increased tension closer to home. Abel speaks more on how good his decision was to not sign with OVO, and he's proven he's better off solo. With another Future and Metro album dropping in the span of a few weeks, and with it having similar themes of going at Drake, we were wondering if and when a response from the Sixth God would come. There were rumors that he was gearing up for something, but all we could do was wait. And on April 13th, a leak hit the internet of a diss track going at Kendrick titled Push-Ups with a dope Bad Boys Get Money sample. At first, people weren't sure if it were AI generated or a reference track, because in comparison to Drake's normal released music, we knew it sounded unfinished. But once word got around, DJ Academics got the official version from Drake himself, and the battle was officially on.
Yo, here's a real version. Stop playing that fucking reference track. Let's get the real shit popping. Let's go!
Drake responded to Future.
Your first #1, I had to put it in your hand.
Kendrick.
Extortion, baby, whole career, you been shook up. Cause Top told you drop it, give me 50 likes of push-ups. Hood.
The Weeknd.
Y'all nigga manager was Charles' little blunt runner. Clean a 6 and you boys ain't even come from it.
His manager.
Cash flowing, able bread out here tricking. Shit we do for bitches, he doing for niggas.
Rick Ross.
Can't believe he jumping in, this nigga turning 50.
And Metro.
Metro, shut your whole ass up and make some drums, nigga.
After Drake responded to shots thrown by Rick Ross on Push-Ups, Rose was quick to respond a few hours later after he posted a story of him in the studio with a beat playing in the background.
Hey, man.
That we'd learned to be called champagne moments. Although some don't think that that's the real reason the misunderstanding between the two started, it didn't stop Ross from accusing Drake of getting a nose job and calling him BBL Drizzy, which Metro would then play off of. The most controversial track of the battle. With the help of voice filters, Drake altered his voice to sound like Tupac and Snoop to come off with a humorous freestyle through Instagram taunting Kendrick. Drake then comes on the third verse suggesting K-Dot was taking so long to respond because Taylor Swift just dropped her album, meaning Kendrick is worried about his music being drowned out by hers. Also, since the Control verse, it was said Kendrick would call out people in guest verses only to go back in hiding, never to respond to those who respond to him, like Big Crit or Meek Mill. Drake got word that Kendrick had a diss track in the tuck for about 4 years now, and is saying, if you're calling me out with this pre-made track, why are you taking so long to release it?
You tryna let this shit die down, nah, not this time, nigga, you following through.
Although the freestyle was satire, the Tupac estate didn't appreciate the use of his voice and sent a cease and desist to Drake to remove it from IG. The song was removed a few days later. Now you know we can't have a Drake beef without an appearance from possibly his biggest op. Ye and Drake almost need each other more than they hate each other because of how well they work and feed off of one skill set. The back and forth between them have created so many moments, why not add another? He calls out Drake for his relationship with Lucien Grange. And
Where's Lucien? Serve your master, nigga.
Even takes a shot at Cole, who doesn't seem to have the best relationship with him since the False Prophet track.
Play J. Cole, get the pussy dry.
Ye is also said to be one to admit that Drake is getting jumped by these artists, including him, as a plan to remove him from his top spot.
You know, it's like we saving the world. Like, you take Drake and Lucien out, that just alters everything, because that's such a control thing they had, the algorithm, the way that they work together to fix the numbers and all that. You know, they have
them two working together.
Absolutely. Like, we're gonna name this nigga after a dragon, some demonic shit. Like, 'cause I'm tired of this nigga fucking with me and all this shit, man. So the fact that these niggas is coming together finally, because it's not just about the elimination of Drake, you know, it's like, like, we're gonna tear the head off whoever they got that they thought was in control of all this shit. Like, look at this. It's like they running the numbers, they running on radio, they got the smash, and then, you know, it's like now they not playing Lil Wayne no more because he ain't, you know, he's not directly connected with Lucien. Then they go, I don't know,
I've never seen no shit like that before.
I don't listen to J. Cole, so I wouldn't even know. I just heard he had a song called False Idols, and somebody told me it's halfway about me, so it's like that, you know.
Wow. There you got it, man.
Yeah.
April 30th, we finally got a Kendrick Lamar response, and we were not shorted. This 6-minute track came with 3 beat switches and a breakdown of the Six Gods character and his position as a possible guest in hip-hop. He called Drake a master manipulator, questioned his fatherhood, his ghostwriters, mentioned New Hope King, which is in the same area Drake was allegedly robbed at, and even questions if Drake can say the N-word.
We don't wanna hear you say nigga no more.
Stop. Daylight, who was in the TDE camp and a certified legend in the battle rap community, said that Euphoria was 19 minutes long, and he has a lot more ready to go if Drake decided to respond. Just a few days later, while still waiting for a response from Drake, Kendrick decided to pull a back-to-back of his own on an early May 3rd with 6:16 in LA, releasing on his Instagram, going off of the same timestamp series that Drake has made famous. Kendrick begins painting Drake as being a bully with a big entourage that actually wants to see him fail.
Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me? Fake bully, I hate bullies. 100 niggas that you got on salary, and 20 of them want you as a casualty, and one of them is actually next to you.
We heard The Weeknd mention a possible mole in OVO's team, so hearing Kendrick double down and bring it up again was raising the concern in the eyes of the public opinion that Kendrick might be one step ahead of Drake, which seemed to put a lot of pressure on Team OVO. But just as we got a drop early morning on May 3rd, that same evening, we were getting word that Drake was getting ready to finally respond. As anticipation grew, Drake went to his story to post a scene from the famous movie Equalizer 2 with Denzel Washington.
So, I'm gonna kill each and every one of you, and the only disappointment in it for me is that I only get to do it once. Carol.
Robert, hope to see you again.
Nice to meet you too.
The relevance is, at this point of the movie, Denzel's character found out the people he thought were on his side were actually working to plot against him, almost like what seemed to be happening in real time. That night, Family Matters finally arrived, and it was big.
Hey, yo!
This might have been Drake's best rapping we've seen to date. No bars wasted, 3 beat switches with cold flow pockets that had him skating through each one. A 7+ minute track with a video provided of the Good Kid, Mad City van seen on Kendrick's first studio album being taken through the city of Toronto to be crushed and destroyed. It included a shot inside a hearse and multiple visual responses like meeting at the New Hope King restaurant, ordering the same meal Kendrick mentioned in Euphoria,
I be at New Hall King eating fried rice with a dip sauce and a blammy, Crody.
having Tupac's rings, and having the New Hope King owner rock Pharrell's chains that Drake bought, and finally finishing off with the ring seen around his neck that is supposed to be the wedding ring of K-Dot's fiancée, Whitney. Now, Kendrick must have been lurking in the shadows, refreshing Drake's page all day, or that OVO mole might be legit, because just as Drake dropped his supposed nuke response to everyone, Kendrick came right back with a response called Meet the Grams that came out just under an hour later. All the momentum was taken out of Drake's drop, and all the eyes immediately went to see what K-Dot had to say.
Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me be honest. I look at him and wish your grandpa would have wore a condom.
This might have been the turning point of the entire battle, because if this was any other artist in the industry, Drake's Family Matters is the nuke he expected it to be. This track gave you what you needed, and as time goes, I believe it will be ranked as one of the better diss tracks, right up there with Ether, No Vaseline, Dre Day, and Takeover, just to name a few. But none of that mattered at that moment, as the eerie vibe that came from Kendrick's Meet the Grams set its own mood as he spoke to each person in Drake's family about how terrible a person Drake is.
You raised a horrible fucking person. The nerve of you, Dennis. Sandra, sit down. What I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen.
That he uses black women as a nympho fetish, accuses him of underage behavior, said Dennis, Drake's father, should have raised him better, and included that Drake was hiding another child.
Dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father not active inside your world.
This time, an 11-year-old daughter. A great chess move by Kendrick, putting the pressure right back on Drake. Now, if we are talking about a successful nuke in a diss track that will also be mentioned as one of the top ones ever, the very next day, Kendrick Lamar delivered just that with Not Like Us. Even on the first listen, you knew what this track was gonna do. From the DJ Mustard tag to that beat drop, you knew what time it was.
Hey, mustard on the beat, hope, deep boat. Any rap nigga here, free throw. Man down, call an ambulance, tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo.
Especially if you have a clear memory of the run DJ Mustard had during his time. Everybody was grabbing a Mustard beat. And what makes this song so impactful is Kendrick went straight with his LA roots. He tapped into the sound of the city with that LA flow we've never really heard him have before. And that gives him more praise as an artist because it shows the lane he was able to carve out for himself. This also broke any stigma of him not being able to make a hit for the club. And it's not just the beat. The song structure is amazing. Every verse has something catchy that you can't get out of your head.
Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rap sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan.
This track has created memes. It's already in the clubs and day parties. And as we speak, it's breaking numerous records while being stamped as a #1 record on Billboard, becoming Kendrick's second of the year, with his feature on Like That being his first. For the first time in a long time, Drake is on the defensive and was the butt of every meme and of every joke, kind of like how we had Meek Mill with his back-to-back track. This next response was going to be interesting because we weren't sure how the best rapper out right now can come back from a shot like this. And just as Kendrick referenced Drake timestamp records, Drake responded with The Heart Part 6, which was very fitting, given his nicknames and where he's from. Drake addresses the child rumors, claiming him and his team fed the information to Kendrick, almost implying that the Mole, The Weeknd, and K-Dot have been mentioning, or alluding to, was a double agent.
We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it.
Drake then references K-Dot's Mother I Sober track.
My mom came over today and I was like, Mother I, wait a second.
Suggesting he's throwing underage claims on Drake because he's projecting from the traumas that he went through when his mom would ask him if he was touched as a child. Although Kendrick has made it very clear that nothing happened to him as a child. Drake then touches on why Kendrick is now living in New York and not LA with his fiance, and why Dave Free seems to be showing more public love than Kendrick. Drake also takes a final shot at K-Dot, alluding to him putting his hands on his wife again.
Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor. And when I say I hit your back, it's a lot safer.
Before suggesting that even if Kendrick drops 5 more songs tomorrow, that he might be done right now. Now, unfortunately, a few days later, there were reported shots that were fired at Drake's home, with one of his security guards being rushed to the hospital with a hit to the chest. It was last heard that he is making a full recovery. Now, along with those shots being fired, 3 people were also caught trying to trespass on Drake's property, but were arrested before any harm was done. With things like this looking more and more serious and reaching a level nobody wanted to, it looked like the battle was coming to a close. Next, Drake hits Instagram and responds with a story saying that it was a good time and summer vibes are next, giving everybody the impression that this meant the battle was officially over. But DJ Academics did suggest that Kendrick may have won the battle, but not the war. Now after this, it seemed like the battle died down, but with Not Like Us already viral, and this being the first time we've seen Drake under a light like this, I wonder if he will truly let this go, or if he will come back for a round 2. But what I do know is that we were all here to witness a battle like no other. And I'm very glad that I can say I was around to see history.